Sairam. Welcome to the class, dear students. Today we are going to start the chapter Nutrition in Plants. Let's have a look at the topics that we'll be covering in today's class. First of all, we'll discuss about Introduction to Food and Nutrition, then Introduction to various modes of nutrition, process of photosynthesis, structures involved in photosynthesis, importance of photosynthesis. What you have already learned. We all have studied that food is essential for all living organisms. Like vehicles require petrol and diesel to work, machines require electricity, we humans also require energy that we get from food. In class 6th, you have studied about various components of food. Let's recapitulate. The various components of food are carbohydrates, then proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. So these are the various components of food. Students, remember that these are the nutrients present in food. So carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are the nutrients. What are they? They are the nutrients present in food. And nutrients are extremely essential for us. So this also answers the next question. Why do organisms take food? Because we get nutrients from them and they are essential for us. Now, why are they essential? We need it for growth, then to repair damaged cells and tissues in our body. We also require food for energy. Energy to do our day-to-day activities. Moving ahead, what is nutrition? But before that, let's have a look at the statement. We already know this, that plants are the only organisms that can prepare food for themselves by using water, carbon dioxide and minerals. Now, answering this question, what is nutrition? Nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by its body. So nutrition is the mode of taking food. Mode of taking food. One part is this, and then its utilization by the body. For example, how do plants take in food? As the first statement suggests, plants make their own food. So they are self-nourishing themselves. Let me write. Plants self-nourish. Another word for self is auto. And another term for nourish is trophos. So what this suggests is that plants follow autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, by what mode do animals or we humans take in food? So we depend upon plants and other organisms for food, right? Either we grow plants to get our food, or we take milk from cows to get food. So we are dependent upon others to nourish us. So others nourish us. So another term for other is hetero. And likewise, as we have studied above, trophos is the term for nourish. So we follow heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Taking this discussion further, let's have a look at an overall picture of various modes of nutrition. As we just discussed, the two basic modes of nutrition are autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is further classified into Holozoic mode of nutrition, parasitic mode of nutrition, and saprophytic mode of nutrition. The example of autotrophic mode of nutrition is all the green plants. So plants are an example of autotrophic mode of nutrition. In heterotrophic mode of nutrition, if we talk about Holozoic, the examples are we humans, then dog, cow, tiger, and etc. Example of parasitic mode of nutrition is, you must have seen these small organisms called ticks on the fur of dogs, cats, cattle. Then another example is leech. Example of saprophytic mode of nutrition is fungus. Mushroom is also a type of fungus. Students, now the question that arises is that what is common amongst us, dogs and tigers, that all of us fall into this category of Holozoic mode of nutrition? So the thing that is common is that we follow these three processes. What are those three processes? They are ingestion. What does ingestion mean? Ingestion means taking in food. Then digestion. And the third process of absorption. So all of us, humans, dogs, cows, tigers and other animals, we follow these three processes after of nutrition, that is ingestion, digestion and absorption. Now in ingestion, I would like to highlight one point. When we take in food, we take in all the nutrients present in the food. Let me give you an example. When I want to eat a piece of mango, now that piece of mango will have carbohydrates, it will have certain vitamins, certain minerals. Now I cannot say this, I will only have the carbohydrate portion of the mango and leave away the vitamins and minerals in it. I cannot do so, right? I'll be consuming whole of the nutrition present inside that one piece of mango. So as we are taking in whole of the nutrition, so from there this term holo comes. I hope it is clear. Now moving on to the next mode of nutrition, parasitic mode of nutrition. Here, what is common amongst them? So these two terms play a big role when this mode of nutrition comes, that is a host, and the second term is parasite. So these organisms like ticks, leech or lice or any other parasite, they live on the host. They live on or inside the host, and they'll take the nutrition, they'll absorb the nutrition from the host. So parasite doesn't have to digest the food. For example, when the leech sucks the blood from our body, so our blood already contains digested food. So they don't have to perform digestion usually. So you can remember that parasites, they live on a host and they do not perform digestion. They just simply derive their nutrition from the host. And in this entire process, they harm the host to some extent. Now in the third mode of nutrition, which is saprophytic mode of nutrition, here these organisms perform digestion outside the body. So digestion occurs outside the body. Now you must be wondering, how does digestion occur outside the body of the organism? What they do is they grow on dead and decaying matter. So they grow on dead and decaying matter, and then they will release certain chemicals in their surrounding. Those chemicals will digest the material on which they grow, and once that material is digested, then they'll absorb the nutrition from it. So this is about saprophytic mode of nutrition. Let's recapitulate what we have studied in this slide. The two basic modes of nutrition are autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophs make their own food. Heterotrophs depend upon others for food. Now heterotrophs are of three types. The first one is holozoic nutrition. Now here the organisms follow the three processes of ingestion, digestion and absorption. And these organisms take in whole of the nutrition present in food. In parasitic mode of nutrition, parasites live in or on the body of host. They derive the nutrition from the host, and normally they do not perform digestion. And saprophytic mode of nutrition, they grow on dead and decaying matter, and digestion takes place outside the body of the organism. As we have already discussed, auto means self, trophos means nourishment. Hetero means other, and trophos again means nourishment. So the definition is, autotrophic mode of nutrition is the mode in which organisms are capable of making their own food from simple substances. And the definition for heterotrophic mode of nutrition is, it is the mode of nutrition in which organisms depend upon plant and other organisms for food. I hope this topic is clear to you. Moving ahead, photosynthesis, the food making process in plants. As you can see, it is written on the screen that the word photo means light and synthesis means to prepare. So this process can only occur in the presence of light. It is the process in which food of plants is made in the presence of light. Students, when we make food at our homes, we require some raw material, right? For example, if you have to make sambar, what is the raw material required? You will require some lentils, then many vegetables, spices, water, right? Now, plants also require raw material to make their food. From where will plants get their raw material? And what is that raw material? So, the first raw material is water, then mineral, and then carbon dioxide is also the raw material required. Water and mineral is absorbed by the roots of the plant, and then it is transported by the leaves to the leaves by vessels. And carbon dioxide is taken in through tiny pores called stomata present on the surface of the leaf. So you can see that on the surface of the leaf there will be tiny pores. You cannot see them with naked eyes. Under the microscope you can see. So there will be tiny pores on the surface of leaf, and these tiny pores are called stomata. And through these tiny pores, carbon dioxide can reach the leaf. I hope you already know this, that it is in leaf where the food is made in plants. So all the raw material needs to reach the leaf. Now once the raw material has reached the leaf, now what? So like when we are making sambar, we have put all the raw material in the vessel. Now how will that raw material get converted into sambar? What we'll do is we'll light the burner, and the flames from the burner will provide energy. So then the raw material gets converted into sambar. So now also over here we need a source of energy. And the source of energy over here is sunlight. So energy from sunlight is captured by green pigment called chlorophyll. So this green pigment called chlorophyll, it is because of this green pigment only that the leaves have this color green. So this particular green pigment called chlorophyll, it will capture the sunlight, and the raw material then will get converted into plant food. And what is that plant food? It is a type of carbohydrate called glucose. So the energy from the sun is trapped by the chlorophyll, and this energy is used to synthesize food for the plant using carbon dioxide and water. The solar energy is captured by the leaves and stored in the plants in the form of food. So students, what we are seeing over here is like the sun. The energy from the sun is captured by the leaves of the plant. So the plant is getting its energy from the sun. Now, how can an insect get an energy? Insect can get energy when it eats food. And the food for insect is, they feed on plants. For example, grasshopper. When grasshopper will eat a plant, will eat grass, so it will get energy. Now, if a snake eats the insect. Now the snake gets eaten by an eagle. So what is happening here? Sun is giving energy to the plant. When insect eats the plant, the insect gets energy. When the snake eats that insect, the snake gets energy. And when an eagle eats that snake, the eagle gets energy. Hence, sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. So without sun, life on earth is not possible. What happens during photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, chlorophyll containing cells of leaf in the presence of sunlight use carbon dioxide and water to synthesize carbohydrates. The process can be represented in an equation. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight, which is absorbed by chlorophyll, gets converted into carbohydrates and oxygen. So this carbohydrate is the food of plant. And the name of this carbohydrate is glucose. And as you can see in this equation, the end product of photosynthesis is also oxygen. And oxygen is extremely essential for us because we breathe in oxygen. Now students, glucose, once it is made, for example, when we eat food, our food also gets converted into carbohydrate. And if there is excess of carbohydrate in our body, it gets stored in the form of fat. Now in plants, this glucose gets stored in the form of starch. Okay. So we find that chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water are necessary to carry out the process of photosynthesis. Even if any one of these things is missing, the process of photosynthesis cannot take place. Let's again have a look at what we had studied in photosynthesis. We have studied that plants will absorb water through their root, water and mineral through their root. Carbon dioxide will go inside it through the stomata present on the leaf. Then chlorophyll will absorb sunlight, and then glucose and oxygen will be formed. Now, how do we know that photosynthesis is taking place? We have studied that glucose is stored in the form of starch, right? So if starch is present in leaf, what does that mean? That means glucose was once formed. And if glucose was once formed, that means process of photosynthesis occurred. Now the second point is this also. In the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is also released. So if we can find oxygen in our surrounding, that means yes, photosynthesis is occurring. So during the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is released. Presence of starch is also, if there is starch present in leaves, that means yes, photosynthesis is occurring. Don't you think that it's such a beautiful cycle that God has created? We take in oxygen, which plants have released. And once we take in oxygen, we release carbon dioxide, which plants will take in. And this cycle keeps on going and keeps on going. And this is how life exists on earth. It's such a beautiful cycle, right? Here is a cross section of a leaf where you can see stomata. So as you can see over here, guard cells, these are the cells which are surrounding this opening of stomata. So this is the stomatal pore, and this stomatal pore is surrounded by guard cells. What do guard cells do? So students, the thing is that the stomata cannot stay open throughout. If it is open the entire day, so whatever the water is there in the leaf, that water will also go out, it will evaporate. So guard cells, what they do is, whenever carbon dioxide is needed, so they help in opening and closing of stomata. So you can remember that guard cells help in opening and closing of stomata. Now over here you can see the veins, xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in transport of water and minerals. So water and minerals can reach various parts of the plant through xylem, and whatever food is prepared, that glucose, starch, it can be transported by phloem. So I hope it's clear with you. These are the name of the two veins, xylem and phloem. They help in transport of water. Xylem helps in transport of water and phloem in the transport of food. In the below surface of over here also you can see this is the stomatal pore, and these are the guard cells, right? Have you observed plants having deep red, violet or brown leaves? I'm sure you must have seen certain leaves that are red in color, violet in color, brown in color. So now they don't. Do you think how will they perform photosynthesis if the green pigment chlorophyll is not present? Because the leaf is red now. Where is the chlorophyll? So students, in these leaves also, the green pigment chlorophyll is present. But what happens is that the red pigment is more in color. So the leaf will appear red in color. The violet color might be more than the green pigment. So the leaf will appear violet in color. Or the brown pigment will be more in quantity. So the green pigment is less in quantity. So the leaf will appear brown. Therefore, such colored leaves which are red, brown, violet, etc., they also have chlorophyll. Their green pigment is masked up by the abundance of other pigments. So the quantity of other pigments might be more, but green pigment will always be there. Therefore, such colored leaves can also carry out photosynthesis. So these leaves are also carrying out photosynthesis. It's just that the green pigment chlorophyll is less in quantity in comparison to the other pigments which are red, violet, brown, yellow in color. Beside leaves, other parts of the plant can also photosynthesize. Now, what are those parts? Plants having green stems or green branch. Now, if they have green stem, that means the green color is due to chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present, that means photosynthesis can occur. Green branches will also have chlorophyll, so they can also perform photosynthesis. You can see this green stem over here. So this green stem is capable of performing photosynthesis. Now this is an interesting plant. You can see these spines over here, right students? So these spines are there over here in this patch, like all over. So these spines are actually the leaves. Surprising, right? And this entire structure, this is the stem. So don't get confused. Don't think that this entire flattened structure is the leaf. No, these spines, the spines on these leaves, on this of this plant, the spines are the leaves, and this flattened structure is the stem. This is because this plant grows in desert. So in desert plants, the leaves have modified themselves into spines, and the stem has modified by becoming flattened, and it performs photosynthesis. So over here, stem is performing photosynthesis. Why is it so? Because in deserts, it's really hot, the sun is really harsh. So if leaves perform photosynthesis, on leaves the stomata are more. So the water will easily evaporate. But then the leaves become spines, so water loss will be less, and then stems become flattened and they perform photosynthesis. I hope it is clear. Students, can you imagine life on Earth in the absence of photosynthesis? So if no photosynthesis is there, then there will be no oxygen, right? There will be no food. So there will not be any food. Earth's atmosphere will soon be devoid of gaseous oxygen, because food, glucose and oxygen are the main products of photosynthesis. Now the carbon dioxide concentration in the Earth's atmosphere will increase rapidly because plants take in oxygen. Now if plants aren't there, then who will take in oxygen? And if carbon dioxide level increases, it will be really dangerous because global warming will happen at a rapid rate. And very soon, most organisms will disappear. So if this one single process stops, life on Earth will end. So see how important plants are. And this process of photosynthesis occurring in them is also so important. Now let's try to check our understanding of this chapter, of this topic. Green plants are called dash since they synthesize their own food. I'm sure you know the answer. They are called autotrophs. The food synthesized by plant is stored as we discussed, food is stored as starch. In photosynthesis, the solar energy is absorbed by the pigment called, yes, it's chlorophyll. During photosynthesis, plants take in dash and give out dash. So what do plants take in? They take in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. Now match the following. So let's read the first statement. Pores found on the surface of leaf through which carbon dioxide is absorbed. What is that pore called? Look onto your left and see which option should it be. You are right. It's stomata. Mode of nutrition where organisms make their own food. So what is that mode called? Yes, it is autotrophic. One product of photosynthesis. So now we have only two options left. What will it be? Will it be heterotrophic or carbohydrates? It will be carbohydrates. Now the last statement is mode of nutrition where organisms depend on other organisms for food. We all know that it is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Students, Swami once said, trees teach the lesson of sacrifice in that they not only bear fruits while they are alive, but they also give away their body to be used as firewood once life goes out of them. Amongst teachers, a tree is the greatest. Indeed, yes. We need to learn the value of selfless giving from trees, from the plants around us. They just give and give selflessly. We need to incorporate this value and learn this value from them. Then how, after knowing about all this, how should we treat trees around us? Think about it. We need to nourish them. We need to give them the due care they require. We should not cut them or destroy them for our unnecessary selfish needs. And above all, we need to be grateful to them. So I hope all of you will ponder upon this thought and you will take care of the plants in your surroundings. With this, we have come to the end of the first part of this chapter. Thank you so much, dear students. Sai Ram.